America. Tool to tool. That used to be my karaoke song.
Of course it is.
Tool to
You know, you can't go wrong. If you can't
You're not
sing,
singing, are you?
Yeah, exactly.
James Brown's
Mustang Sally's another one. Any man can sing Mustang Sally.
Look, they're all coming in now. All the gorgeous patrons. You guys that aren't one of those right now, you've had a mare. You've had a bloody mare. Links in the description. Let's get this sorted out. Everyone become a patron, and then we'll never speak of it again.
Complete slags. A lot of them. Absolute slappers. Flinging it around. It's great in there. Become a slug and just see what slags they are.
Yeah, and the chat is their little swingers room. Just walking about the chat, the patrons
naked.
are.
Everyone's naked.
Of course. Just waddling more than they need to, just to fling it about because they can, because they've earned the right.
And most of the people in there are walking around, sort of weirdly walking like that. And why? Sore bums.
yeah. They are exhausted. Not them. Their bums.
Knackered.
Just specifically their bums are exhausted.
Couple of them, face down, sweaty mess, just worn out.
And that could be you. That could be you for less
£4 a month.
For just $4 a month. So become a patron. We do a mailbag each week. It's always bloody good fun, and we answer your questions. And we have like resident people now, which is great. Anyway, so thank you. Welcome to our patrons, and welcome to Jaffin. Going into our, is it 4th year? I don't know. 2022 at least. We're certainly in that year, that's for sure. I've got to be honest, I think we need to get this out of the way straight away. I feel like you're doubling down, Flav. I feel like you might be doubling down.
What do you mean?
Do you want to talk? Well, we can go straight to some of the quotes of the week.
Okay.
Cameron Corden, incredible work by Jim getting Ali G on the pod. Harvey Finch.
What?
Flav being dressed up. Indy talking about crypto is the last thing I thought I'd ever see. Solomon said,
up as what?
I can't.
I generally I've never seen this before.
These are comments from the Christmas pod. Solomon said, can't decide if Flav's aiming for a career in rap or coffee roasting. Tom the Drum 41 said, Flav looks like he's opened his own microbrewery after failing as a lead singer for an indie band. Yeah, it was the hat. Now, interesting how the tables have turned here, because over the years it's often been me who's got the heat for wearing a hat. People don't seem to. The YouTube world is very angry when it comes to beanie wear indoors. You went with the orange one on the Christmas pod. I didn't mention it, and someone actually said it might have been. Oh, this might have been my. No, it wasn't. One person said, "How have they got through this entire podcast and they've not spoken about Flav's orange hat?" Obviously, go back to last week's podcast if you want to check that out. But Flav, I feel like you've doubled down.
I didn't. What with the shirt as well?
Yeah, but the shirt does heighten it, I would say. But I like the shirt. I
bought the shirt. Just arrived today.
That's nice.
We can give them a plug. If I can remember what they're called, Mr. Debonair.
Mr. Debonair. Okay.
Yeah, and I just like the shirt, Jim. I just like the shirt. Look, mate, you either do you want to stand out, or do you just want to fade into the ether?
Yeah, you're kind of doing both, because if you sort of cross your eyes a bit, then you do sort of turn into a bit of a blur with that top. But I like it, and I bought a similar one actually. And it's literally right next to me. So
really, let me see.
So yeah, I'm catching a vibe just like you.
I just want to see it for the night.
What this one?
But
it's a bit like a rug, and it doesn't work in videos. But I'm hoping
you haven't shared.
For some more outdoor work this year in 2022, and thus I will use this bad.
James, I can't see your camera for some reason.
In Twitch. Hang on. Go on.
I can't see your video on Twitch, so I don't know what you're doing. I can see it on YouTube. It's delayed. Hang on.
Let me turn this on then.
You fucking.
There you go. You see me now?
Hey, what a good-looking bloke he is, isn't he? Jim's paying off already. Jim's paying off already.
Oh, I've got some gym chat. Oh, we could get straight into this. I'm up for a messy one today. Ooh.
Should we? But before gym chat, I mean, there was a game of football last night. Dare we talk about that?
Well, I'll tell you. Why don't you react to what I went for the title? And I've been intrigued to know if you agree with what I went with, because I did a little tactical analysis, I like to call it, on the game, and my title was Spurs are miles off. I went with thoughts.
Miles off.
being good.
What's good? I mean, is 8 games unbeaten in the Premiership good? 5 wins out of that 8 games, is that good? Don't know. Sounds all right to me.
But you're not good, are you? I thought you were good for a minute, and you're not.
We are miles better than we were. That's all you can ask for, because we were proper shit.
Did you think you were good? You didn't think you were good against Chelsea, did you?
Last night?
Yeah.
No, we were dog shit. It was horrible. It was like they were so much better than us.
Yeah.
If the question is Spurs are miles off Chelsea, which isn't a good title because it's obvious, then you say, yeah, of course they are. They are excellent. They're the best team we played this season, hands down, and that includes the ones where we got thumped. They were better yesterday than when they beat us 3-0 when Nuno was in charge.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me. No, they're really, really good. They changed their system for that game. They played a 4-2-3-1.
I think they'll stick
us.
with that. I think they're going to stick with that long term.
They're mustard. And look, we can't. Of course, after 8 games, Conte isn't going to turn us into a team that can beat Chelsea, who've just won the Champions League, who, despite a few iffy results, are still a quality side. And you look at the squad; they've paid the money. They should be a quality side. You know what I mean? There's a lot of money there, a lot of excellent players. They brought Lukaku back in. Kai Havertz was just unbelievable. The geezer at the back, and forgive me, I've seen him before, but he was brilliant. Yeah, he was really good. Where did he come from? I know I can't remember. God. Doesn't matter. But he was good, right? There's not, and their system they just tore us apart. You cannot defend it.
No, I thought you were as much as they were good, you were bad. You were more bad than they were good.
Yeah, but I hate that. The credit should always go to the team that wins. And this is coming from this is quite a sensitive topic for me, Jim, because I get that at Spurs. That happens all the time. Every time we beat someone, it's because they're shit. Like Watford. The reason why Watford couldn't play was because of the players we had on the pitch and the way we pushed them and how aggressive we were. Right? Watford have done better against other teams, better teams than Spurs this season. So the credit should go to the team that actually forces it, and the credit should go to Chelsea. We were bad because we couldn't get past their press.
Yeah, there's truth in that.
What I would say, and a shout out to my good friend Windy, who we did a pod earlier, and he talked about this. I don't know if you remember when we played Liverpool earlier on in the season, and we on the break we really hurt them. We were playing a different formation. We were playing a 3-5-2, right?
Yes. That
enables us to attack, counter attack very, very quickly. In this one, we played a 4-3-4-3 or a 5-3-2. Sorry, 5-3-2. A 5-4-3-4. Fuck's sake, 3-4-3. That's what we played.
Yeah,
and we just couldn't. We just didn't have any space or any time, and it was one of them. No one should expect Tottenham at this stage to go to Chelsea or any other big club and turn them over. It's going to take time. 100% fully believe that Conte is the right person. We're going to need, in his own words.
What are you saying? Are people turning on? No.
No,
Are
we
not going down that road?
Not yet.
How many games? How many games?
How many games? Well, look, I mean, if Conte has to lose 10 games on the bounce.
Really? He's a tenner. It's a tenner. He's in that. He's in. I think that's always a good question. Who's in tenner territory? Don't worry, by the way. This podcast isn't lagging. We're both struggling to speak. Who's in tenner territory?
Pep's in tenner territory.
Tenner territory.
Klopp's in tenner territory.
Yeah.
I would say right now Arteta is, because of the way they.
No way. That is the stupidest thing you've said this year.
But can I explain myself? This year, it's only been 6 days.
That was the game.
Can I explain myself? Oh, right.
I'm giddy.
Yeah.
That's a patron.
The Arsenal board.
Do you know what I'm doing here by mistake? And I've just done it again. I'm doing that Scientology thing. I'm doing, in the Scientology thing where they go, if they have an argument, what they do is they keep cutting the other one off when they're trying to say something, to the point where they snap, and then you go, See, you're crazy. Scientology does exist because you're not sound in the mind. And that's
you're getting flustered.
Yeah.
The Arsenal. I think the Arsenal board have shown unwavering support to Arteta, even in the most difficult times. There is a video on your channel and Rory's channel. Actually, I'm not sure. I'm sure, definitely on Rory's, saying Arteta must be sacked now. And look at them; they are flying.
I don't think I've said that.
All right,
I think I've been quite good with. I think I've been quite good with Arteta. I think I've got that one right.
That's why I think he might be a 10 dog.
You think he's a 10 dog? Hang on. Let's get the. This is a good game. Let's play. Patrons play. Play now. With the people that you think.
I don't think there's anyone else in the league that could survive 10. I tell you what, how many games has Ragnick got?
He's definitely not a tenner. Not. I mean, he's not. He's struggling to get players out at the moment. The mutiny has begun. I want to talk about that, but let's do the tenors first. So Pep is in tenor territory. Really tough to say. Tuchel, no, I would say Tuchel's in 7 on the trot. He's gone.
I'd say 7 losses on the bounce would get him sacked.
Yeah, Klopp will give you that. Arteta, I think 6, maybe 7.
I would say 10, but no, 10 losses in a row. That's crazy. All right, 7.
Moyes is in tenor territory, I think. I think he'd be fine.
He's earned it.
He has earned it.
Do you reckon West Ham fans are getting sick of people going, quite amazing what Moyes has done with West Ham? Like, it's just, everyone's just waiting for him to fall apart. And they, again, I'm in a generous mood today. They play some really good football. They're playing amongst the most attractive football in the league in the last few games. And I'm not saying they're playing better football or more effective football than Manchester City. It's just I'd rather put pins in my eyes than watch Manchester City play. And West Ham, despite being one of our rivals, are a joy to watch.
Yeah, they've got a bit of, intensity. Look at them. What I want is, in my head, I want there to be look at them. They're attacking. They could score. You don't get that with Man City. Man City, it's like...
Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they scored again. Just,
yeah.
Can I get a bit more? Do you know what I mean?
Apparently, else had...
Potter's a 10 dog, says Stoko Pops. Rogers, good question. 10?
No, Leicester. I did no chance. I did a preview with Leicester a while back, Leicester fans. And they are split now on him, on Rodgers. They're not 100% convinced they should replace him. I mean, I was like, who are you getting better than Rodgers? Who are you going to get better than Rodgers?
Yeah.
Like, just give him a break if you're going through a poor form. But that's football fans these days, Jim. No patience.
So, he's a 10. Bruno Lage. I think Bruno Lage could sneak to 10.
Maybe. I've been well impressed with Wolverhampton. If we're doing a half-season report, right?
Done already.
Have you done
it? Go on. I like Flav's half-season report. That's a possible title. I could do with some titles, by the way, guys. Chuck some titles in the chat, and that'll help me.
Wolves, just playing good football, I think, and also when they've been a bit too open, they've known how to shut up shop. And you've got this geezer, Bruno Lage. Like, unless you played Championship Manager, no one's heard of him. You'd never heard of him, Jim. Don't lie. You haven't. No one.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
there are Wolves fans in there going, "Who?"
Yeah.
And and he's done a good job. On that, I know I'm flitting around lots of subjects here, Jim.
Oh, this is great. I'm really enjoying it.
On that, apparently Spurs' worst ever signing, Doherty, is going back to Wolves, and Adama Traore may be coming to Spurs.
Straight swap. Take that, wouldn't you? Straight swap.
I would. I think Traore is mental. He will bring utter chaos, but won't it be fun?
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly more fun than Doherty. I mean, that's a safe thing to say.
But if Conte wants him, then surely let him do it.
I think you might as well cash in on Traore as well if you're Wolves, because I don't think he's going to go up in value, and I don't think you can get any more output out of him. So I would let him go.
Spurs, what I'm thinking is he'll get the ball, he'll run at anybody, he'll get past them, and then all he's got to do is just give it 5 yards to Son, 5 yards to Kane. You don't have to cross it. Just do your bit, do the bit that everyone finds most difficult that you find so easy, and then just pass it to Son.
I had a Sunday League football manager who used to talk like that. He'd go, like before a game, he'd go, guys, get the ball, get it out wide. get down the line, cross it in, score a goal. And I'd be like, oh, right. And he'd be screaming, guys, don't defend, attack.
That's not inspiring, is it?
Yeah, I'm blowing up my arse here, mate, and I've just been sick, so can you shut up? Sunday league football. Great time.
That's why you look so suave, Jim. You've had a haircut, haven't you?
I've had a little chop, yeah. I wasn't happy with it, I'll be honest. I really wasn't.
I think it looks lovely.
Yeah.
And you've had some shocking haircuts, in the time that I've known you.
Well, I mean...
Like, you'd come in someday and I'd look at it, and I wouldn't say anything, Jim, because I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I'd look at it and go, what is that?
What is it? I'm just tempted to try stuff. But Fam says I've walked back in, having got my haircut, and I'm walking, and I go, what do you think? And she goes, she's always like, it looks exactly the same as it does when you left. She can't see it. She doesn't see it. She doesn't see the difference.
That's not fair.
Not fair. In terms of titles, Luke says, Conte exposed. Can we get to that? Maybe not. Conte next in the sack race? Maybe. Other topics are allowed. It doesn't have to be Conte. In terms of tenors, though, to finish it off, Thomas Frank, I think, has got 10 in him, especially with the position they're in the league at the moment.
How about Leeds? How about Bielsa? Could he go down and keep his job, Bielsa?
Probably. Big window for them. They sort their lives out. Because Newcastle are going to spend so much. I was so certain they were going down, but somehow they've played 19 games. They've got 11 points, and they're not cut adrift. They're one win from being out of it. That blows my mind. I don't know how they've got away with that. They've won one game all season.
Trippier what do you think of Trippier's signing to Newcastle?
I think it's great signing for them. Like he's obviously I guess he wants to come home, and he's, I don't know, taking the money a little bit. But
yeah, but that's fair enough. Like,
yeah, he's getting on in it as well. I think it'd be great for them. Might get some, set piece goals from him as well.
Mate, his delivery's unreal. Like we were talking about him potentially coming back to Spurs. Like, not fans were talking to each other about it, because we get so much. Well, we in some games, not last night, we get so much joy from our fullbacks or wingbacks, and certainly from Emerson Royale down the right hand side. He gets himself into brilliant positions, but he cannot.
Yeah, but he's shit. Yeah.
You think he's shit?
Yeah, he's crap.
Emerson Royale is crap.
For what you want, and what Conte wants, Emerson Royale is not the guy.
He's not shit, James. That's very.
It wouldn't get in front of Moses Odebajo. I'll tell you that for free. He's not attacking from an attacking point of view. If you want to be a good team, he plays for us. If you want to be a good team in the Premier League, you have to have wing backs that are really good going forward. Yeah. That doesn't feel like insightful stuff, but you'd be surprised because somehow you don't have any. Maybe Reguilon, maybe.
Yeah,
he's all right.
No, he's good going forward, and Emerson's good going forward to the point where he has to do the important bit. And it's all well and good being able to run into space, but you have to be able to deliver.
Sorry. I'm going to have to go to the chat here. Sam Hansen says, get out, Jim. Emerson is the guy. Emerson is the guy. Did you watch the game last night? What guy are we looking for here? If you're a Spurs fan, what guy do you want? Is Emerson the guy? That's the worst thing you've said all year, Sam Hansen. Emerson's not the guy. Look at the other wingbacks in the world in the Premier League. If you want to get back to that, being a top 4 team possibly, or at least like that actually being a thing, Emerson is not the guy. Unbelievable.
I think you're being harsh. I think there are attributes to his game. He's not nearly as bad.
Let's play a new game. Right, ready? Okay. So I like to play a game. Having been a fan, still am, just about, of QPR, right? You start to know what players' like ceilings are. They're a playoff, they're a championship playoff player. They're a mid-table championship player. They're a League One player. Emerson Royale, he's not a top 4 player, is he?
No, probably not. No,
so then what's the point? Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to have some standards here. I've been watching a lot of Succession. I'm getting very cutthroat. It's mental.
It's very good, isn't it?
I can't stop watching it. It's so good.
It's so good. It's so good.
I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but I've just watched an absolute bombshell at lunch, and it is blowing my mind.
It's when they all die in that car crash.
What? I haven't got that far yet.
Sorry, I've ruined it for you. QPR are doing all right, though, aren't they?
And we can go to the Championship table if we'd like to. Still got I think the important thing to say when it comes to Queen's Park Rangers, as we're all catching up on what's been a breathless Christmas period, is the fact that QPR are both in the playoff places. Let's just have a quick look at that.
Mm-hmm.
And have games in hand. Yeah, that's also good, isn't it?
Similar to Spurs, isn't it? Similar to Spurs. What I would say, Jim, you know what I really liked about QPR?
When?
I like the fact that just in the last month or so, I like the fact you've lost 2 games on the bounce and you're thinking, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
QPR are a bit shaking, losing 2-0 to Stoke at home. Bournemouth losing at home to Bournemouth as well. Did have red cards, so
they are top of the table.
They're top, and 1-0's with 10 men. It's just it happens, doesn't it? But to rebound against Bristol City 2-1, and then Birmingham 2-1. Birmingham are no mugs.
No, they're not. That's a great point. I mean, down in 18th currently. But the teams we lost to, Bournemouth, Stoke City are up there. They're going to be up there at the end. Do you know what I'm worried about? I'm worried about Middlesbrough, Flav. I'm worried about Middlesbrough. Are they going to sneak our spot? Because I think these 4 are up for grabs. That said, QPR are just 5 points off the automatics. Oh my good God.
How about Blackburn?
Could they?
Can't stop winning. Can't stop winning.
Couldn't be us though, could it? Could sneak into the automatic promotion. I would lose my mind.
It does look weird,
doesn't it?
Being up there, it does. Jim,
do you think that happens sometimes? It makes when certain teams are at the top, it makes the table look old. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like the early 90s.
Yeah, like if Coventry got themselves back in the Prem, you'd see them like in 14th and go, just like 994.
Yeah. Okay. Jim, let me. I'm trying to find out where you're going to be mentally, right? Because you have spent, I would say, 5 years in the doldrums.
Sure.
Just nothing to look forward to, nothing to get excited about, not even anything to get worried about. It's just been
we've been fog.
Bleh.
We've been fog, haven't we? People have just been looking through us on their way down to the relegation places or up to the playoff places.
You're just a light spring mist on a light morning mist.
And you look and you go, what's that? And you walk closer and you go, there's nothing in there. I've just walked through it. No. And that was QPR.
Yeah. And then you look at it and go, that's inoffensive. I quite like it. It's not a problem. Yeah. But now, right, you're getting into a position where what the likelihood, if you're being brutally honest, might be, right, playoffs. That isn't missed territory, Jim. You can't
we're pulling into focus.
Float around in the ether, Jim. There are substance to these games now. How are you dealing with the fact that you must win every game? Essentially, every game's a win.
It has been really different this year.
Stressful.
I was chatting to my mate Dom about it, who was Brentford fan who've consistently won games for the last 10 years, including this year. And what you'd realise after a while was that sometimes you'd draw games or lose games, and you'd be infuriated because you should have won it because you've dominated those games. And what I was told, and what I'm trying to do at times, is just appreciate that at least every game we play, pretty much, we are pretty much in control of and the dominant team. And that means that you're going to win more games than you lose. What I am concerned about is that I feel like it's a weak division this year, and I think it's a real opportunity to sneak up there somehow.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I think we'll get our hearts broken. But
is that your gut feeling?
Yeah, my gut feeling is that we either get our hearts broken and finish 7th, or we get our hearts broken in the playoffs.
You have played this sort of possession-based football for not just this season, the last season as well. And you talked often about how QPR would control games. It was just lucky. Things weren't falling your way or weren't quite there yet. You weren't mature enough under Warburton to make the possession count. Whereas this season, it makes complete logical sense.
What are you trying to do here? I don't know what you're trying to do here. You're trying to get me to dream, and I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm too old.
Something is not only is something happening, it's almost happened. You've become a good side, Jim.
Yeah. No, you've got to try and enjoy it, haven't you? Because the thing is, you go up and then it's just going to be like, oh God,
manifest, Jim.
Slapped about.
Manifest.
Yeah.
Just speak it into existence. Therefore, it's reality.
Who's the most enjoyable team to support in English football? Like, that balance between expectation, exceeding that, like not drowning in the like, oh, we're a glory club and we've won this amount of trophies and you've won that amount of trophies.
Well, it's a great question, Jim, because if at the top of the tree there isn't a great deal of enjoyment to be had, because the pressure is so significant. Unless you're sort of a Liverpool fan who they're comfortable in their success because they're expectant of it, and they obviously often they've grown up around it, and the stories that they've won all the European trophies and they've won league titles now, and so I think in terms of the fan base that enjoys their club and enjoys the football the most, I'd say Liverpool.
Yeah, I think
I wonder if I'd like to know in the comments, not just by the Patreon.
Yeah, if you can't, and you can't pick yourself, obviously. And I know.
Well,
I presume Freddie, the Tranmere Rovers fan, probably is doing that. I would imagine.
I'd like to know. I'd genuinely like to know if Liverpool fans enjoy and always have enjoyed, and maybe what their worst period was, where they thought, I don't enjoy doing this, because I've had plenty of times.
I know what you're doing. I'm not having it. And do not put. Okay, well, you answer that question, but do not put Roy Hodgson in that answer, because I'll lose my mind. This happened. I watched a video. And I haven't been angry for a while because I'm been grateful. I've been very grateful. But I watched one of your Lad Bible ones, and it was it was the Man City fan who's a very good talker, by the way. Big Steve, I think his name was. I don't know if you've seen this
with Robbie.
With Robbie, and it was such a blast from the past of like when you used to do things with Robbie, and he had to like. He does this. Watch out for him. He does a Scientology thing. He does the like, well, no, listen, and then he'll get his point across. And he's very, very good at it. But I'm going to be honest. I'm going to put it out there. I think Big Steve won that one. Like, he was very good. But where he did lose me was they were talking about the buying. They said, it's agree or disagree. And he said, did Man City buy the trophies? And he went disagree. And then he basically just went on this rant about how enjoyable the success has been because we were in Division 2 and now we've won all these things. And in my head, I'm screaming, that's not the question. That's not the question. But the thing that wound me up was this like, I was there. He said, I remember going to watch us against Grimsby and thinking, why am I doing this to myself? Fuck off. Like, fuck off. Yeah. What are you on about? But you support your team regardless of what league they're in. Like when they go down to certain divisions, so be it, right? I was like, and I like the guy. I thought he was impressive. I thought he was really impressive. But this like, oh, woe is me. I had to go to watch Grimsby. Shut up.
I think you make a point of that, but because he's talking to an Arsenal fan and
he's going, I'm going. The thing is though, right? Do you know what the problem with that is, right? Is that if you're trying to utilize the fact that, oh, I was there at the depths, therefore these highs aren't bought. Then if the value is in being down there and you're up here, then what are you now? If you're gonna make that the argument, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I do. I understand. Ollie Sage has responded to what I said about Liverpool because he's obviously a Liverpool fan. He says, not true, Flav. Considering how good Liverpool have been, we should have won way more. Really fun to watch, but how competitive the league is, every loss feels heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm not saying like when you lose, it's still, obviously it hurts everybody because that's the point of it all, right? But I just think generally Liverpool fans seem to enjoy their club and they're sort of... They defend them when they're down.
Quite proud, aren't they?
Very proud, and I think there's something about the city and how the history of the city, and that's important because that Scousers, I won't go into the political aspect of it, but Scousers do feel like they are separate or on their own, and because of what's happened to their city previously. And I think that bleeds into their football club. Everton fans are less like that, as far as I can tell. But Liverpool fans are it's us against everybody. And that mentality in football is really a positive one if you're a part of it.
Yeah. And I presume quite annoying if you're not.
Yeah, it's fucking well annoying. It's really irritating. Like, I don't like giving Liverpool fans credit, and I've got into a lot of trouble over Christmas for tweeting of stuff, anti-Liverpool stuff. Mainly anti-Klopp stuff. I've been called all sorts, Jim. Some geezer wanted to fight me.
The Asda car park in Crawley. 7:30. Be there. Do you know what? Just finish that point about the going. I went to Grimsby and I came home and I thought, what's the point? I was like, honestly, I swear to God, my favourite ever seasons watching QPR were in Division 2. My favourite ever seasons.
I mean,
it's about winning. It's not like where you're going.
Yeah, it's cool. And you're on a journey and you got to enjoy it, right? And my dad, we had a season, the only season we've been sent down. We went down rather. Was it 87, I think.
Did you go down to Division 2?
Went to effectively Division 2. Yeah,
wow.
We went down. We got relegated.
Did you think about walking away then?
Well, I was 5. I didn't give a shit either way. But my dad said that it was his favourite season following. No, sorry, 70s, not 80s. Oh, fucking 70s, 78. I think it was 77, 78. And he said it was his best season ever. He said we won we finished second and we went up, but it was just brilliant winning, absolutely brilliant.
That's it. That's all it's about. It's winning, surely, or glory, innit? It's all about the bloody glory.
Asher and Majid, he said when I was criticising Klopp on Twitter, he was losing it, and that's one of our own patrons. Like that isn't like he was getting annoyed at me, and I dread to think often. Sometimes I tweet stuff afterwards, and I'm thinking like Machin and Pajak, who I really like, I've got a lot of time for. I love them both, right? But I'm talking about their football club, and I'm saying stuff that must really fucking irritate them. I don't know. Maybe I should rein it in a little bit, but I can't.
So a bit. I'm going to do a few quotes of the week, and then I'd like to talk about this. I basically just did a video on this Man United mutiny, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. But let's do a couple of quotes of the week first. Loki Doki, hello mate. He's a football manager, YouTuber. Go check him out. He's got 57,000 subscribers. Just a bit, yeah.
We have effectively YouTube royalty watching this podcast.
It's turning into a very exclusive nightclub, isn't it? That all the cool people want to come to, which is not what we're used to.
You've got to have your dicks out in this nightclub. Have to have your dicks out.
Just so you know. Couldn't they just bash their asses together? Is one of the greatest sentences uttered by mankind. That was on the Christmas pod, Flav, and you said that. Well done. It was about it was bottom and top chat, or top and bottom chat, which I think we've drawn a line now. We've established that I'm a power bottom. Oh yeah, sorry. Final comment on your hat, DJ Tivy. The family gathers in the living room. The tension is untenable. The smell of sour cream and chive crisps fill the air. Grandma shakes her head in disgust, tutting. Mum cringes, wondering where has it all gone wrong? Dad, fuming, holds his head in shame, looking to the sky, livid. Flav, we're all worried about you. Take that fucking shit hat off. It's harsh, isn't it? People hate hats. YouTube viewers hate hats.
I'm really hot now. That's why I've taken it off. It's not because I'm bowing to peer pressure.
Okay. This was odd. Nigel Martin's son, Thomas, got in touch. We were talking about how Nigel Martin and the family enjoy Christmas dinner, and Thomas can confirm that Flav's comment is true. The rest of the Martin family do indeed eat out of Big Nigel's hands at Christmas. Christmas dinner this year was special. We had a whole turkey in one hand, and then all of the veg stuffing pigs in blankets, etc., piled into a mountain on the other hand. And we all kneeled in front of the TV watching Jeffin. It was a beautiful moment. However, James is also correct in that if he tried this in a public buffet, it wouldn't be I wouldn't be too pleased, as his great food dispensing hands are a private family occasion and shouldn't be flaunted to the public. Merry Christmas, lads. Well done, Tom. Very
if people
good.
want to know what all that's about, go back and watch the other ones.
Christmas
If you're new to the podcast, the first time you ever watched it, just bear with us, stick with us, and this will all make sense eventually.
Yeah. We were asking about fans from across the world. No, I still would like to, if you are from a niche country listening to the podcast, please
love this.
Let us know. And there were a few.
And I just want to know, if you can as well, describe your surroundings. And anybody, let us know what the weirdest place you've listened to the podcast. That'd be great.
I love the idea. Yeah, like someone like guy like Speedo 6-pack dives into the pool, goes underwater the whole length, pops out at the end, comes out like an Adonis as the water drips off him, puts some shades on, puts his hat back, is passed an orange juice as he walks into this beautiful villa, sits down and puts on Jaffin. I would love that.
Yeah.
I love the idea of that. Matthew Skiraha, avid listener from Malta here. Love his stuff, but not sure a lot of the Maltese people understand the English comedy that well. Ha ha ha. There was a few from Malta. We had a few Maltese. All Maltesers. Is that what they called them? Is that racist? Hopefully.
Yeah,
not.
Maltese. Maltesers. Yeah.
Yeah. Masal S representing Serbia here since day one. Okay. Yes, well, hang on. Whoa. What's day one? Answer.
What is day one?
We'll read it out next week, Masal.
Yeah, what is
day
what
one?
do you consider day one, James?
Well, I don't want to answer, do I? I'll answer it next week. Because I want to know. I'm calling bullshit. Has he been here since day one?
Oh, I see. This is like, all right, we need a picture of a spoon, a video of you saying day one is this, holding up a spoon.
Yeah.
Arjun, stick with us.
Yeah. Yeah. Arjun Yadav, India representing his since Ball Street days.
Yes, son.
Did well there, very good. And 2C BKK Thailand says Merry Christmas to you. So we've got Thailand people as well.
Wonderful.
So Man United mutiny. I just want to hear your thoughts on basically the video I did was talking about, as I said, I've been watching a lot of Succession, and the idea of sort of like power moves and all this stuff has been infiltrating my mind. And what I find interesting is the response to these kind of leaks within the Man United dressing room. You got the Lukaku thing. You've got Harry Kane in the summer, I guess. You've got Aubameyang recently as well. And my kind of point with the video was just like, I was just thinking about player power, and I don't think it's there anymore.
I see what you're saying.
Not like it was. Feels like something's changed here. Like the factors that I thought might play a part in this is the fact that these football clubs are so huge, as are their squads. And so, whereas previously you maybe had like a backup striker and he clearly wasn't as good as the other one and that's it. Now you don't really even need to play with a striker and you've got 5 forwards or whatever it is. There's no one's really... How many players in the Premier League... Here we go, I got my title. How many players in the Premier League are indispensable?
Such a great question. And you're right because of what Aubameyang at Arsenal and how strong Arteta has been in that. And
yeah, same with Tuchel.
Fair play, it's fair. At Lukaku, I mean, yeah, like he said what he wanted, but this hasn't helped him at all.
Because all 3 of those, right? So if you think who's the biggest player at Spurs? Kane. Who's the biggest name at Chelsea? I think you would say Lukaku. Who's the biggest name at Arsenal? Aubameyang. They've all been told to just sit down. Be quiet.
I think because of the size of these clubs now, the amount of power that they have and the amount of money coming through them, that contracts actually mean something now, and that's what it's about. Like when you talk about player power, it's about players getting what they want. And typically, if a player wanted to leave a club, like Harry Kane did in the summer, then generally, previously, they would get their way. But Tottenham have become such a financial powerhouse in terms of what we can. Like we can afford to turn down £100 million for one of our players, which is a new phenomenon. So,
and also kind of call the bluff. Like you can kind of call the bluff of going, well, if I say no long enough, what, you're just going to not play? I think at the end of it all, they all want to. They all want to play. Like that. That is the strongest thing. Like of all.
Play.
Oh, they'll play and they'll sulk and they'll score 3 goals.
Yeah, it's like what do you do? Like, look, what now that Aubameyang's done whatever he did? I can't remember. I don't even know what he actually did. I think it was sort of breach of.
I think it was like it had happened a few times. He basically had gone and he was told to come back on a certain day and he didn't, and they'd got to a point where they're like, that is enough.
Yeah, and ultimately, like you could argue that Aubameyang doesn't give a shit about it anyway. So who's the real winner? He doesn't care whether he's playing or not. His career's done. Like, he's at the end. He's not going to get another massive meal. He may get a gig somewhere in some sort of minor league that has lots of money, but his career is pretty much done. So he just thinks, fuck it. That's the impression I get anyway. With Kane's different. He wanted that move to Man City for the next for the next step up in his career, which you can understand. But fundamentally, Spurs are rich. You've signed a contract. You can't do what you want. So therefore, in Kane's circumstance, player power doesn't exist.
Sure, Jam Jar says in the chat. There's a few good comments there. So first of all, in terms of players who are indispensable, let's get a few more in. I've got a thought on that one. But Sam Hansen says Kieran Trippier is indispensable, and Emerson Royale, of course, indispensable. Great player. Yeah. Jam Jar says it's the size of the club is a big factor. I think that's actually a good point because, like QPR. Player power, Tarap like walking off whenever he wants to, like you let him get away with it because he was just too good. Right? Yeah. So I think you're right. Like that's from that point of view, that's still a big part of it. But there's quite a lot of big clubs now, so maybe that's it. I don't know.
There's a lot of clubs that you'd be previously considered to be mediocre or mid-table clubs who have a lot of money, who don't have to bow down. Like you look at the Grealish situation at Aston Villa, where they had to meet a clause that the owners of Villa never thought they would have to. Another club would meet.
Do you know what? I guess the only thing you could say is that I feel like it's different than before, or maybe. And this is probably true. Maybe we're just picking apart everything now, and things are so hyperbolic that a couple of stories being leaked is now a mutiny that I'm putting 100%. On a thumbnail and in a title, and we're talking about it.
Yeah, people want to hear it.
Yeah,
you're right.
But so actually, the same kind of discontent has always been there, and the same kind of like shut up has got out there. It's just the reverberations of comments and the discourse that's there so huge. That it's
unbelievable
to sort it out.
Football media with YouTube and obviously mainstream media and headlines in sort of Daily Mail, and how valuable football is, and more importantly, but more significantly to this conversation, how valuable conversation is around football clubs, most of which isn't true. Most of the stuff you're reading has no basis in reality, but if perpetuated by a news outlet, becomes a talking point, even if it's not even true. Like, do you know how mental that is? There are thousands of football fans having conversations about something that isn't true.
Fiction.
But it's fiction. But they're talking about it because it relates to their football club. It's crazy what's happened. It's interesting as well. I've got a question for you, Jim, right?
Yeah. Can I just say, Catherine says, you are part of the problem, Jim. Yep. Absolutely.
Yep,
no, I think you're right. I think you're right.
Made a career out of it.
My problem with Jim's problems. Video comes in. That's great. Go on, what's your question?
My question is what's better for football? Power with the football club or power with the players?
I think the football club. Actually, it feels callous to say that.
It does a little bit, but it is.
But I think it's probably for the greater good. I think there has to be a kind of. I think the balance has to keep sort of drifting and being sort of pulled both ways a little bit. I think, yeah, because I think it's interesting as well. Like,
each end of the argument, don't you? So if the clubs have too much power, it becomes a little bit sort of maniacal.
Yeah, and what's also amazing is that, like, I'm always very aware of, like, the hypocrisy of all of this. So for example, and again, I'm a hypocrite because I've just done a video and put it out there because I think it's interesting. And we were kind of talking about this similar thing of this, like, player power. But this morning, I watched Goldbridge and Paul Ince talk about them giving their opinions whilst giving their opinions. And I was like, this. It is funny, isn't it? Like, it is weird the sort of how locked up you are to not say. Because actually, if we lived in a world where everyone said how they felt all the time and they just kind of got on with it, that would be kind of fun as well. And we do often go, "Oh, I wish players would speak. I wish players would speak their mind."
Sorry, Miss has to do stuff. She's going to work and stuff.
All right, no worries. Yeah, there's a lot of people saying, "I wish players would speak their mind," but it kind of has to be. And again, like the Lukaku thing about him saying some of the stuff he said, I was thinking about it, and like this sort of like moral bar that's there for players, and created and attained because fans say so, is hilarious as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, completely.
Like, get Lukaku's a disgrace. Like all this stuff. Like, he's stupid. He was stupid, but in terms of being a disgrace, the same people calling someone a disgrace will go to the ground and call them useless because they missed a chance.
Yeah, we'll scream.
Funny
at
world.
them.
Funny world.
Just going back to the player power thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, how old some of the listeners are. I mean, I'm sure we've got some young listeners, right? And they've probably heard of the Bosman ruling. But this is what fundamentally changed the course of history for footballers and how the power, at least some of it, went back to them. Fundamentally, the Bosman ruling was that a player at the end of his contract, if it had run out, could move without a fee passing between two clubs. But before that, a player could be out of contract, but as long as he was registered to a football club, the club could still demand a transfer. So you could be out of contract, not receiving a wage, but not being able to get a move to a new club and find new employment because a club demands a fee to release the registration of that player to the next club.
Mm.
That was a really positive thing to happen on a level where, you know, players would need to be able to just the movement of freedom to work in line with anybody else who's working. Like we had a contract at Wall Street or whatnot, but we could leave if we wanted. We just handed our notice in. But with footballers, it was completely different. And that was what the Bosman ruling was about. Like Bosman, what's his name? His actual name?
Jean-Marc Bosman.
Jean-Marc Bosman.
Is that right?
He wasn't like an elite player. He just took this through the courts and said, like, I'm at the end of my contract. I should be able to leave on a free.
Mm.
Why I hate his guts is what his actions meant that Sol Campbell could do what he did to us.
Yeah.
But it was a positive.
Think of the signings you've made, though. Do you know what, though, as well? Like, I guess, like when you're saying what's better, is it better that the players have the power or the clubs? I guess you want both parties to sort of be kept honest, if you know what I mean. And
because the clubs will definitely manipulate the situation.
Exactly. So I guess what's interesting is that, you know, transfers themselves is an industry. You know, like the amount of conversation that comes from it all, maybe like overall in terms of like the exploitation of it, because it's so hard both ways, and you can have like, you can leak stuff, your agent can do this, you can start talking to them, but at the same time you've got contracts there and clauses and all these things. It actually makes for a fairer final, you know, contract or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It is interesting. Because I think it'll be quite a hectic transfer window, to be honest. Because I think there's a lot of teams that kind of want to do stuff. Like Newcastle, like they're going to spend a lot. They're going to like buy 5 or 6 apparently. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, they've got to stay in the league, so they have to speculate now. But they've got the issue where if they spend a lot now, they're going to be hamstrung in the next couple of years. They can spend 115 or 105 million over the next 3 years in the Premier League in order to stay compliant with the financial fair play that exists within the Premier League, right? If they
say that again. They can spend how much? 115 in the next 3 years.
So it's either 115 or 105, right? I can't remember what it is.
Right.
But they can spend that amount of money over what they bring in through sales or commercial revenue, right?
Okay.
So they can.
So that includes wages, for example. So anything, any spend at all.
Any spend on players. So
Okay.
the way when transfers are worked out, it's the fee you pay, which often isn't the fee you read about in the press. So the £25 million apparently paid for Brian Hill was probably more like 4 million up front, and then another 2 million over for the duration of his contract. And then if we hit Champions League, if he plays 30 games in a season, there's more money that goes to Betis or whoever we bought him from. I can't remember. So and then on top of that, there's the wages. So you've got essentially the entirety of the deal over a certain period is what is considered. So it's not because the transfer fee you hear, you might think, all right, 105 million or 115 million Newcastle can spend on players. And from a fan's perspective, the easiest thing to do in the world would be, all right, so Trippier costs 12 million. That's 12 million off it. That's not the way it works. Trippier might cost 4 up front, and then through the duration of his contract, he also costs, it would amount to 12. So if you're looking over a 3-year period, right now, the outlay for Newcastle would be 4 million. I don't know what the deal is, but it would be 4 million. Mm-hmm. So they can sign a number of players, but over the next 3 years, they can't speculate more than 105 or 115 million, whatever it is. If they do, if they breach it, and there's a period of where they can sell players to get it back underneath, they can't register another player until they're compliant again. Does that make sense?
So, a bit like Everton.
Exactly like Everton.
Yeah.
Exactly like them.
So they have got to be a little bit careful. It's interesting.
It just means that they can't flex their muscles in the same way that Manchester City and Chelsea did before these rules came in. And some might argue it's for the betterment of the game. Others might say, well, Newcastle should be able to do what Manchester City did.
Would you touch, if you get a loan deal for Aubameyang for Newcastle, would you take it? Callum Wilson's injured.
Yeah, I think you would, yeah.
Would you? You think it's a good idea? Do you think it'll keep him up? Help keep him up?
I mean, he has issues with his decision making. He makes poor decisions. But if you can keep him on the pitch for the duration of the season, he may bag you 10 goals, and that might keep you up. But I think that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you think? Yeah.
Well, I'm on Saturday Social on Saturday, and that they've asked me to think of 5 transfers for Newcastle if I had 100 million to spend. And so one of the talking points is Aubameyang. So that's why I was intrigued to hear what you think.
You should ask about Dele Alli as well, I think.
Dele Alli at Newcastle?
I think Dele Alli might... do you know what another one might... I don't know, Ndombele. He's on 200 grand. I think they could get him because I think Spurs would be potentially looking to bring in loan deals, and Ndombele's on £200,000 a week. We can't bring in another £200,000 a week loan deal. So say we wanted to take Griezmann, which has been mooted, which will never happen, or Coutinho, right? You're having to pay 150 grand a week to get them in on loan, to pay their wages.
Right.
If we wanted to do that, then Ndombele would have to be...
You're not going to go get Coutinho, are you?
I'm not. No, I mean, apparently he's signing for a Premier League club this weekend, so I don't think it's apparently it's going to be Aston Villa. I don't know, but what I'm saying is, while I don't care, I don't think those players will transform our season too much. Like Griezmann would be fantastic, but how much more has he got to give? Like, is he going to be motivated to play for Spurs? There's untold conversations around that.
Not really what you need.
What I'm saying is that Ndombele would offer Newcastle something they absolutely don't have, and that is an mercurial talent, but an unbelievable talent. And I think on a 6-month loan deal, if Spurs were looking to bring in a significant player on big wages, it'll be Ndombele that may be available for a loan, just so that we can cover his £200,000 a week wages that he's currently been paid.
200 grand, he's done well, and I mean, he's good. He's good at football.
He's so good.
So
He's
good.
so good at football. It's just...
He's such a I used to he was the kind of player that would look at me at training and just evil me because I was playing on a Saturday because I won the ball and gave it to a good player. And he was the guy who kept doing...
Oliver Skip.
I was Oliver Skip, yeah. And he would just and he was Ndombele. And he was clearly better than me, but he didn't do anything. Interesting.
I know. Yeah. Ndombele can do something that Skip could never do. Once in 10 games. Skip does something that Ndombele doesn't do 9 games in 10.
Yeah. The chat are getting very angry. They're saying boring. Stop talking about football. So what we'll finish with, because we haven't got too many comments this week in terms of funny bits and pieces, I'll be honest. But I did have a little bit of a story which I thought could lead to a possible bit. Now, so I went to the gym. And my gym's got a little it's got a sauna bit and a steam room, and before you jump on that, and a little jacuzzi and swimming pool and a swimming pool. And
I was balling.
Well, yeah, I thought I'd treat myself because there's nothing else to do in Hounslow, and so I went and I took a book with me, and I thought I'd heard someone say. It was talking about that Atomic Habits thing I was talking about, which was make things if you want to read a bit more, facilitate it, do things that you enjoy and then read whilst you're doing it. So I was like, oh, I'll go to the gym and then I'll go and have a little chill and I'll read my book. And the book I'd found it by mistake, and it was a book from a few years ago, and the book was about negotiation, how to negotiate. I was like, this might be interesting. It's quite a little book. So I went to the gym, did that. Didn't work out in the end. Long story. Anyway, but I came back, and as I went to get changed, I put my towel down and I put my book down. And as I put it down, I looked up, and I caught the eye of this man, and he looked down at the book. And it was Art of Negotiation or something. And then looked back at me. And I was sort of caught. And then then carried on. And in my head, I was thinking, does he think I'm chatting him up? Because of
what?
I don't know. Because we're in the gym here. And you want to negotiate? You want to do something like that? And in my head, I was like, ooh, have I just been creepy there? It was confusing.
Creepy in the gym.
Well, that's it. So I was thinking, not creepy in the gym. Is
Jim
there a
being
moment?
Creepy. Jim creepy. Jim being creepy in the gym.
Jim creepy Jim. Yeah. So I was thinking as a bit, moments where you feel like you've been creepy, but that wasn't your intention. I just wonder if there's been any moments that people have had when they're out there. When you've I don't know, or you've gone for a high five and do you remember Jeremy Corbyn when he went for a high five and padded her boob? Remember that? So I was thinking there must be some good stories out there of people that have done something really that looks really creepy, but actually it was completely innocent. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I don't have any, but I'd like to hear things where you've creeped someone out unintentionally. Exactly.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe my story's not great, but in my mind at the time, it felt like a chat up line book where it's shall we negotiate as I put my towel down? Grim.
Nice.
Maybe it wasn't. Mate, lots of football chat today. What's that about?
Ugh. Do you know what? I've enjoyed it. I think because I know we made a thing about it not being I feel like I've had a break and I'm happy talking about football again.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's lovely. Yeah. I didn't see any Samisms in the chat because it was a different kind of podcast last time. The only one someone did tweet me and said that Paul Ince said, I think Traore did something and it was a genius stroke. So there's your Samism for today. Right, that's it then.
All right.
Chilled one, enjoyed it. Sorry, I just caught butt scissoring on my script there. If you enjoyed the podcast and you want to become a patron, there is a link in the description. I think it's $4, which isn't much, is it? So if you do want to get involved, do a mailbag.
Up the price.
I might have to. So
$4 fucking.
Like I said, if everyone can just get it done, then we don't have to talk about it anymore. It really is. You're holding this up. You're holding this up.
Can you just become patron so we can stop talking about it?
Exactly.
I know we've got there are a substantial amount. Join the army.
263 of them.
Full of sex and like you basically, if you're a virgin and you're watching this, you become a patron, you'll lose your virginity. Just like
that. Honestly, it's gone.
That's a fact.
Yeah. Kieran Taylor hugged my mate celebrating a goal. Squeezed a little too tight. Felt awful for days. That's what I mean. That kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever kissed your mate by mistake? like celebrating
on the lips.
Yeah, I don't know. Like got carried away. That'd be funny. Right then, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll be back next week. Happy New Year and all that. And we'll see you next time.
Up the slugs.
Up slugs.